Welcome to episode 30 of our MyTeam season. I can only say one thing. I didn't expect I would get this far into this series. So I would say please like and subscribe already. Because I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers at the end of the year. I know I'm only halfway there with currently 55 subscribers. But if you'd subscribe, I would be already at 56. Or maybe even 57 if someone else already subscribes. Then we are now here doing our upgrades. We are doing a major DRS upgrade. And that will go on in time for the British GP. And a minor DRS upgrade that will go on in time for this episode. Unfortunately it failed, so we'll have to do it again. But let's go into qualifying. So talking about the end of the year, we are not there yet, we are only in October, if you're watching this when this video comes out. I want to do a special race, but I don't know which race I should do as a 100% race in time for Christmas or whatever, maybe even for Halloween as well. Should I do a race with Formula 2 cars? Is that maybe something you'd like to see? Or what would you guys like to see, as we are currently finishing off our first flying lap in qualifying 1. As you can see, there is still a lot of improvement as we are 6 tenths behind Schumacher. So of course we are going out once again to improve our time. So that's what you're seeing right now, as the session is only 30 seconds away from ending, and we are already improving by half a second in the first sector. So hopefully that will be enough to get us into qualifying 2 and 3. Schwartzman currently in P21 with Gasly in P20. I don't know who yet has to go over the line to improve their lap, but we sure have to, as we are getting right up to the barrier. At the final corner and going on to that long straight. Of course, it's the longest straight in Formula 1, if I'm correct. Please comment if I'm wrong. As we finish our flying lap, and we are in P14, so that means that we are through to qualifying 2. And in qualifying 2 we are right now. You can see I'm improving by 7 tenths. As this is almost at the end of our qualifying, and you can see I'm really happy with this lap, as it's going to start to rain, which can only mean one thing, that we are through to qualifying 3. Same is Button, so we are through with both our cars, and George Russell is actually out of this qualifying, so he is starting in P12. And now I was waiting to let the track dry up. But unfortunately it didn't dry up as fast as I hoped it would be. But you can see now already my teammate is going into the pits on the minimap, and that's because I don't know, it's something weird that the AI has, but as soon as it dries up too much for the Inters, they all go into the pits, and as you can see, qualifying is complete, and we almost crashed into the wall at the same corner as we did in qualifying 1. Let's just see where we finish our flying lap then, as the track is improving oh so much. So let's see where we are then, crossing the line for qualifying, and we are in P3. We are starting our race in the 3rd position. Let's go.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku, and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today. So our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully out of the barriers. Baku City Circuit then. It's an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole, a fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have the engineer, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso and Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Button and Esteban Ocon, Magnussen, Russell, Alex Albon and Ricciardo, Joe, Stroll, Lando Norris and Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, Gasly, Latifi and Robert Schwartzman. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So let the race start, as we are no longer in Monaco, so that means that we can start this race first try. And the lights are out and away we go. You can see it right now. Of course we have a bad start as usual. It's nothing new, only if you are a new watcher, as there is a front wing broken from Lewis Hamilton's car. So we will no longer see him in this race. Of course, if we don't bring our own car, as Sergio Perez had a little moment there. We are currently in P5. We dropped 2 positions, but I didn't expect anything else as we go down the inside here in turn 3. Still side by side with Sergio Perez, and try to go around the outside here then. And we actually managed to do it, so we are up into P4, which would be really great after a disappointing Monaco Grand Prix. You can see end of lap 1 still in 4th position, and you can see how much the leaders are getting away from us, as we are already 2.5 seconds behind them. It's Sebastian Vettel in P1, Charles Leclerc in P2 and Max Verstappen in P3. No, not Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel is actually on the hards, so he will be doing a reverse strategy with a hards to medium strategy instead of mediums to hards. As we are in lap 3, and you can see the gap has maintained to 2.5 seconds, and Perez is still very close behind us as we are getting our first warning of the race. Let's hope we keep it to a maximum of 2 warnings, as we don't want a penalty. Maybe a late safety car can fog us over there. But you can see now lap 4, Ocon and Sainz are now the guys behind us, as Perez had a bit of a moment as we go right up to the wall at the last corner. Let's just hope nothing major happens there then. As you can see now lap 5, and we are driving in a bit of a gap between the cars ahead of us and the cars behind us, as we are all driving the same pace. Maybe I'm a bit slower than the guys ahead, but as long as they keep fighting, I can stay within 3 laps, or 3 seconds, not 3 laps. That would be a big gap if I was 3 laps behind Max Verstappen in P3. But luckily that's not the case. We are now still 2 seconds ahead of Ocon and Sainz. And yeah, there is our second warning already. It's lap 8 and we already have 2 warnings. So that's not a good thing. Let's hope we don't get another warning at that corner, as it is one of the easiest corners to get a warning at in this circuit. But yeah, you can see the gap is growing behind us, as it's currently 2.8 seconds. And Hamilton is going in for his second stop already. We are stopping in a few laps time, but we'll have to wait for that to get there eventually. We are still here in our lonely race. It's kind of a boring race as the start. We might see some more actions after the pit stop, but we'll have to wait for that, as we are going the only long straight in lap 9. And you can see the gap is getting big in front of us. It's 4.5 seconds. Ocon is only 1.5 seconds behind us, as we are having a terrible line through here. You can see going too early to the apex of the corner, which meant that we ran a bit wide. And now in lap 11 he's almost within 1 second behind us. We are doing our best to hold on to P4, as we had a bit of a moment coming out of the last corner. and we don't want to get a penalty here, so we try to take it easy, as Ocon is now within 1 second of a gap behind us. Verstappen is already 6 seconds ahead of us, so we are not fighting for a podium today. Let's just hope we can hold on to P4 as we run wide here. You can see Ocon very close behind. He's now even beside us. And he's overtaking us into the last corners of the track. You can see how close I am behind him. But it's time for us to pit. And you can see my tires are at 30%. As Ocon is now still side by side with us. We have the DRS, but we are coming into the pits. The only thing that could go wrong here is getting a penalty and having a problem with our pit stop. We didn't get a penalty, so let's hope that our pit stop is a good one. As the front left tire didn't get off as quickly as we wanted to, so we lost about 2 seconds there, which wasn't great at all, as Ocon was only half a second behind us, or even ahead of us for a bit of time. But let's just hope we can get a good stint on the hard tires for the next 14 laps until we are at the finish. So yeah, still a lot of drivers who need to pit as we are currently in P16. You can now see Schwartzman and Tsunoda, Latifi, Stroll and Magnussen into pits, as well as our teammates and Perez and Sainz, who were before the pit stop behind us, are now in front of us as we lost 3 positions. And maybe even more as George Russell comes out ahead of us, which isn't great at all, as Magnussen is going to overtake us, as I thought I could get some sneaky DRS tactics here, but the DRS detection point was earlier than I expected and I didn't get the DRS at all. But as we go into lap 15, you can see we have an amazing overtake as the Haas driver locks up. You can see it from his onboard now. He has a lock up and I just go for that gap, which means that I have overtaken him right now, which puts me in a better position for points, as we are currently in P8. Magnussen is still behind us, Ricciardo is behind him, and he's trying to overtake us once again here in lap 17, but we defend him off and we are still in P8 for a good amount of points, as we want to try and get back to George Russell and Sergio Perez, but they are pretty fast at this track here. As Ricciardo has now overtaken Magnussen and Button has as well. And you can now see that Button is in points once again. He was in the points in Monaco and he did gain us 2 points in the Constructors, which is really great. As now Ricciardo is only 1/10 behind us. He's going for the overtake. And we'll let him get the position as we want to have the DRS to get back at him down the main straight. You can see we run wide and through these corners we go as Jenson Button has a major crash. He comes together with the wall and with Kevin Magnussen. He's out of the Grand Prix. It's one of the biggest crashes I've seen in Formula 1 in the most recent years, and definitely in the game as well, as I don't think it was a great idea to get a barrier there, as it's only caused a collision. I am not going into the pits, I'm just staying on these hard tires, but it's unfortunate as Jenson Button was in the points, but the safe car is now ending and we are already past Ricciardo. And what are we going to do into turn 1? We are overtaking Russell and Perez as well. Let's see what we can do to Sainz and Ocon ahead of us. They are still within 1 second as we are only in turn 2. Russell and Perez are fighting, so hopefully that can give us a bit of space behind us. As we are now in lap 23, and you can see a gap is forming ahead of us and behind us, just the same as it was in the first few laps of this race. Is a 2-second gap ahead and behind. So let's just hope we can keep that gap behind, as we have a bit of wing damage. I think from that crash behind us, we also tapped the wall just a little bit as we go into the penultimate lap of the race. Only 2 times that we have to go around the circuit to finish in P6, which would be really great, as we want to gain a few points each race to get ahead of Alpine in the Constructors. But as you can see, Ocon is in P4 and Perez is really close behind in this penultimate lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it so far, then please like and subscribe. Perez, Russell, and Sainz. No, not Sainz. Who is it behind Russell? I don't know. But they are also close behind us. As I let Perez overtake me, as I want to have the DRS. Hopefully I don't run wide this time. No, I don't. And I can stay behind Perez and overtake him actually. As we go down the main straight, I don't use that much overtake. As I have the DRS and I have the extra speed compared to Perez, and we are now going into the final lap of the race in P6. Let's just hope that we can finish it in P6, as Perez and Russell are really close behind us. And Russell actually has overtaken Perez now, and he has tapped the wall. You can see me shake the steering wheel a bit, as I think that it is now done for them. They cannot overtake me anymore. But you can see Perez is really strong into those final corners. Sebastian Vettel has won the race, as we almost crashed into the wall, the same as Button did. Sergio Perez is now only 5/10 behind us. It's only half a second between me and him. But I don't think, as we are using all our ERS, I don't think that he's going to overtake us. And we finish the race in P6. What an amazing result for us. But let's just hope that Button is okay and he can race in Canada as well, which is the next episode. Daniel Ricciardo gets driver of the day, and let's see who is on the podium.
It's never an easy race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner, but they've come through to take a brilliant victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
So it's once again a win for McLaren. They are really strong. Let's just hope that we can be as strong as them in a few races time. As we are doing a lot of upgrades. But the podium in total is Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, as we expected it to be since the start of this race. They have been really strong this weekend. But let's just hope that we can be as strong as them in a few races time, as we are now looking at the standings. It's Ocon in P4, Sainz in P5, and we are finishing this race in P6. Russell, Albon actually in P8, and you can see Jensen Button as a DNF, Kevin Magnussen, and Sergio Perez. When did he get a DNF? What? He was in P8, P7? He was right behind us in the final lap, so why is he classified as a DNF? Maybe he had something in the final straight, but I don't know. We will never know. But this was the episode for today. If you have liked this episode, then please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.